The Rams hold on to beat the Seahawks. They're now in sole possession of first place in the NFC West. So much to break down in this thriller. And my name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And of course, we got Rams great Big Brock, Michael Brockers joining us as always. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram. We got our guy, Gavin. He is a victim of the LA weather, and he's making his way back up the bay. We'll check in with him. So much to get into. By the way, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the #1 daily Rams podcast here, the Locked On Rams Network, and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit the like button, drop a comment. We want your reaction to today's win. And we're into it. There's so much to get into. Not a great day for the Rams offense. The defense made incredible plays, 4 turnovers, 4 interceptions they got off of Sam Darnold and Ethan Evans with one of the best punts, probably the best punt you're ever going to see in the history of the NFL. So much to unpack in this one. The uniforms, there's a lot to talk about. Before we get into it, though, today's episode of the Locked On Rams Squad Show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. You bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. All right, I got to say it. Unclench those butt cheeks, because I don't know about you. I was absolutely – Brock, what was going through your mind? I'll start with you, Brock. What was going through your mind as Myers is approaching that kick? Because I was fearing the worst. I'm not going to lie.
Like the whole time, because you know how I think, and this has been going on for the whole season. If the Rams are up at halftime, I'm nervous because I don't think they really truly know how to play a game from you know what I mean? Like, it's hard for them to know, like, oh shit, are we ramping it up? Are we playing for touchdowns, or are we just, playing not to lose? So off rip, I was kind of like, I was kind of biting my fingernails. I'm like, oh, we're up at halftime. Like, what do we do? And then come 2-minute situational football, we got to give the ball back to Sam Darnold. Obviously, it was an excellent punt. But I'm nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is kind of how we lost to, San Fran at home, last minute situational football, hold on to the ball. Like, so for me, yeah, I was highly nervous coming up, the 2-minute situation. And then when they get the ball where they needed to get to with 1 second left, I was like, what are you doing? Like, who was controlling the clock? There's no way he sat on the ground for a minute, thought about calling a timeout, then was able to call a timeout with a second left. And I thought it was set up for the Rams to lose. I'm be honest with you. And then he's going for it. Then they praising him because he's like, oh yeah, he hasn't missed a kick for like 2 years and this and that. I'm like, oh my God. Here it goes. We're losing. Then it comes off his foot and it's like wide right or something. And I'm like thankful. But yeah, the whole time I was, you say clenching them butt cheeks towards the end of the game. I definitely was, because if we lose anyway the most, I think we lose in situational football.
Heartbreak fashion, right? Heartbreak fashion.
And it's crazy because I know McVay and his staff and that team goes over situations nonstop. So the fact that they get beat, or when they do get beat, it's in like very close situational football is crazy to me.
Yeah, and they were trying to set it up too. I mean, pointing out the fact that the Rams had basically set everyone in coverage and give Darnold some credit, found Shaheed there. But when they were showing that aerial shot of him with the countdown, I'm like, that's the kind of call you get from the clock operator when you're the home team. Not when you're the away team.
Right.
You kind of get that benefit of the doubt. I mean, it did seem like he kind of got it, and whatever, it is what it is. But I was with you. I was looking at that thing, trying to scream foul play, like, oh, we're getting robbed here. What the heck is happening? It almost felt like we were going to start talking about if he does make that kick, if Myers makes that 61-yarder, kind of the narrative is, oh, the defense, they got ball hawks. They were gutsy in the red zone. They were great, but the Rams didn't deserve to win that game because of the performance of the offense. I look at the Seahawks as that defense is no joke. And we'll talk about them in this one, but let's get our guy Gavin in here. Gavin's rocking with us on the way back to the Bay Area, back into a Niner gang enemy territory. Gavin, you with us?
I'm right here, and I don't want to hear nothing about going to Niner territory. You know how much I love my hometown. I love being back home, but God, I hate those Niner fans. They're coming off a nice win though, so they're going to be annoying. But man, what a game! What a game! Um, what you guys think though of the decision to drop all the D linemen back on that last play? I actually thought it was pretty smart in the sense that Sam Darnold has to throw the ball immediately, right?
Hmm.
And uh, he probably wanted something right across the middle, right in his face for a 10-yard play and call a timeout. So I actually thought it
Hmm.
was a pretty decent decision there to drop him back. And yes, you gave them an opportunity to make a Hail Mary field goal essentially, and they missed it. But I actually thought it was a nice decision, and I thought it wrapped up just a really impressive coaching performance from Chris Shula. I know how much DMAC in particular, and I know you do as well, Brock, think so highly of Chris Shula. But I mean, just a masterclass. You come into this game, the Seahawks, known for throwing the ball over the top. JSN feels like he has a 40-yard touchdown every week. Oh, by the way, you throw
Hmm.
Rashid Shaheed in the mix, another 40-yard touchdown, 50-yard touchdown guy. And the Rams just kept everything in front of them. And just like they
Hmm.
did in the playoffs last year when Darnold was wearing purple, you get pressure on Sam Darnold and he starts seeing ghosts, right? He did not get
Hmm.
that big contract with Seattle this season because of how he played under pressure. He got it because with Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings, he had a lot of time, play action, and he's a great pocket passer. But we got some pressure, and he had a rough game. And shout out to the defense for the reason we pick up the dub.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at that last sequence there and you consider this is the NFL. Kickers can make 40, 50-yard kicks easily these days. And you got to protect from a big gainer because that's what the Seahawks team has done all season long is those 18 to 20 chunk plays. I mean, what I was fearing was Jackson Smith-Njigba, who was starting to really give Forbes fits there at the end, in something outbreaker kind of by the sideline and setting up
Hmm.
a 40-yarder. So I like the fact that you took that away. Yes, they still were able to get a completion to set up at least a kick that gave them a chance, but I'll live with 61, right? I'll live with it. If you make a 61-yard kick as a walk-off on the road, I tip my cap, I shake your hand, I say, hey, that was a heck of a kick, right? But if it's a
Hmm.
40-yarder, that would have killed me, right? Allowing them to go down the
Right.
field after starting at their 1-yard line that I couldn't have lived with. So I do agree with you, Gavin. It was innovative. Shula kind of has pressed the right buttons all season. But yeah, I mean, without that punt by Ethan Evans, I don't think they win this game. I really do not think they win this game because Darnold was starting to get a little comfortable. JSN was starting to cook. Just putting them in that position that forced them to really take that clock all the way down the way they did. I mean, it was an absolute difference maker. And I know right now inside that Rams locker room, like they're pouring water on him, pouring Gatorade on him, maybe giving him the game ball, right, Brock? I mean, I'm sure that they're celebrating him right now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, in that situation, obviously, you always, as a punter, if you trying to pin somebody deep, you always want to do it like that. But 9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen. 10 times out of 10, it doesn't happen like that. So, especially in that situation where you need a great punt and you need it to go out of bounds on the 1 yard line, to do it in that situation was great. I thought, also Forbes had a pretty decent game, but for me, man, it shows that if you, especially JSN being a top receiver right now, he cried the play before Forbes
Yeah.
got that pass interference. He cried about it. Okay, yeah, he grabbed you a little bit. Then immediately the next play, he gets that call. It's literally in the game of football. There's a hold. There's pass interference and things like that every play. I just hate the fact that in a crucial situation like that, the refs are involved. Like, let the guys play. Like, if it's something blatant, like, call that. But in that situation, that was a little ticky tack after you missed the call before. So you want to get you kind of want to get your call back or whatever. I didn't really like that, but I thought, Chris Shula and the defense, man, they played phenomenal today. Even the announcers were talking about it, how they played from a top down emphasis, keep everything, like you said, in front of you. Don't let anything go over your head. Be good tacklers, and then, off, getting turnovers is a plus. So to go out there and get 4 picks today off of Sam Darnold and the Seahawks when they were actually, doing great things this season is phenomenal. So, that's one thing that carries throughout the season is a good defense, and I love the fact that we have a great defense.
Yeah, we talked about it all year, Brock. I mean, with how high powered this offense is, with all the talent that they do have, that really the backbone of this team is still is the defense. And they proved today that even when they're not at their very best, I mean, it wasn't perfect for them. They get outgained by 165 yards. They get 414 yards, but it was the ball hawks. It was the Kobe Durant's, the Kinchins. I mean, the ability to just find a way to get turnovers is the great equalizer. It really, truly is. And even with 14 minutes to go in regulation, the game was not over, and they were able to get touchdowns. I mean, you got that late touchdown by Colby Parkinson, so they were able to get touchdowns when they needed to. The Rams did. And they were able to get interceptions and turnovers when they needed to. And, I mean, what can you say about a defense that is going up against an offense that is ranked right at the top in almost every single offensive category, and you keep them out of the end zone until 2:23 to go in the fourth quarter? So, I mean, that's when they scored their first touchdown. So I thought that it looked like they were going to have such an advantage with Jackson Smith-Njigba going up against the Rams corners. But you mentioned Forbes had a good day. I totally agree with you. That was a makeup call, and I hate that because it's like, dude, like, you made a mistake, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at that mistake and call the game clean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I hate that. I agree with you, but there's a grit to this. There's a grit to this defense and a grit to this team. And I like this. I like this too. Hear me out too. I like this too because we've been, Brock, you and I started the episode last week. I had my belt out. You know what I mean? Like BTA, right?
Right.
Like, this is kind of a little bit of a wake-up call in a game that you won, knowing that, yes, credit to that Seahawks defense, but we know that, like, Devontae Adams and Matthew Stafford looked like they weren't on the same page a couple different times tonight. Puka Nacua had a fumble. The running game really disappeared in that third quarter. So I love the fact that you beat a really good team. You put yourself in a really good position to win this division, 64% chance right now. Still a lot of work to be done, but you can learn while knowing that, hey, it's not like, oh, we just beat them by 20. What do we have to work on, right? So it's a little bit of a wake-up call and a big win.
Yeah, I mean, when you beat it. Oh, I'm sorry. What you saying, Gavin?
My bad. We forgot about you, Gavin, because
no, my bad.
I was playing that.
All good. No, I was just gonna say, D-Mac's exactly right that it's nice to have a wake up call in a win. Another thing, you're not always going to play your best game, especially in the NFL. It's so competitive, especially against a team as good as Seattle. But I mean, I'm sitting there the whole game. I'm laughing. The Rams did everything well that they normally don't do well, and vice versa, right? This is a Rams team that has been brutal in the red zone, brutal in special teams, and yet it's the Seahawks who can't score, can't convert in the red zone to save their lives. It's a Rams special teams punt that pins them inside the one, and it's a Seahawks miss kicked at the end of the game that loses the game for Seattle. Obviously, it's a tough kick, but right, it's just it's a relief to know that other teams can lose in the same way the Rams had lost games, struggling in the red zone, struggling in special teams. And it's a relief to know that the Rams can win every single way imaginable in this league. They can win the 35-10 game where they're lights out against a great team like the Niners, against maybe not a great team like the Jags or something like that. They can also win the ugly ones where it's 3-3.5 against the Ravens. They can win in every way. And I don't know about you guys. I feel like the red zone struggles for the offense have kind of been fixed. We'll talk later in the show about maybe some of the struggles we saw from the offense between the 20s, which is kind of the first time we've seen that in a while. But I just thought it's pretty funny that it's the Seahawks in the red zone struggling. It's the Seahawks missing field goals, and it's the Rams getting it done in the red zone and getting it done on special teams that helps get this win.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think that every team wants to prove you can win a bunch of different ways. I will say that I do want to prove that I can win a game with Harrison Mevis kicking a field goal. And Brock, you and I were kind of joking about that this week that, hey, we're going to have to eventually see him kick a field goal. And we still haven't, right? I mean, outside of an extra point. So we'll wait and see that. But I'm totally with you. I mean, look, good teams win games ugly. Good teams win games by blowout fashion. And I think today was interesting because the way that they stay in nickel, essentially the entire game, really, it's interesting. It's that 13 personnel little cheat code, right? And they got dogs over there. And when they can get pressure from so many different guys like they were able to with Lawrence, with Williams, I mean, there's a lot of guys that can bring at you. And then you got Iman Wari who can really be versatile as well. I mean, look, that was their strength, and their strength was something that kind of imposed their will on this Rams offense after that first quarter. And I think that moving forward, I mean, it's such a cliche to say lack of execution, but even against a really good defense that they played today, if Puka doesn't fumble, if Devonta Adams doesn't drop a couple passes right there, you still could have seen the Rams, who came out on fire with those 2 touchdowns. They had a 14-3 lead after the first quarter. I mean, there's a universe where the Rams win this game by double digits because of their own errors, right? And if they fix that and they clean that up, I still feel like that this Rams team has the ability to be a really, really good, a great, even complete team on both sides of the ball and compete for a Super Bowl. So I still think that's in there.
Yeah, I mean, when we're executing, we're one of the best teams out there. On every single level, we're executing. We're one of the top teams in the NFL. When we have mistakes like that, it makes us normal. So I love the fact that we, like you said, we can win in any way. We can blow you out the water, or we can win a close game. And I think that has to do a lot with just having like a complete team. Also having a quarterback that can get it done, that you have trust in. If you're down by 3 or whatever, what have you, you trust that your quarterback can at least get you, in a game and give you the opportunity to win the game. So I love that factor. Anytime you have a great quarterback, you're always in the game. But like I said before, early in the show, man, defense travels, man. If you have a good defense, you're in a lot of games. So the fact that we have a good young defense, and I love that fact that we don't have a bunch of older guys, 8-10 years in playing on our defense. A lot of our guys are 3 to 4 years in. They prove it. It's the make it break it year. So you got a lot of hungry guys out there trying to prove themselves, going out there playing for each other. So I just love the space that we're in right now. If we stay right here, obviously with a couple of plays we get back, Puka Nacua, you never see him really turn over the ball like that. So that's a rare sight to see. So if we can, fix those blunders and overcome those things, man, you're looking at one of the top teams in the NFC right now.
Totally agree. And the proof is in the record now, right? Now it's like, it's not like, oh, do you want to put us as one of the top teams? Like, hey, let that record speak for itself, because we're already well deep into the season, sitting at 8-2. I'm going to ask you, Brock, though, this defense on the field, almost 38 minutes. They hold the Seahawks to 1 for 4 in the red zone, keeping them out of the end zone like they did. Like, how does that feel on a field? Like, I feel like that's a pride thing, like a grit thing, and you kind of learn a lot about a team when you're able to pull that stuff off. Just, hey, by any means necessary, we're going to keep these dudes out. I mean, it's kind of, how are you wired out there when you're performing like that and seeing those results?
Yeah, and I love seeing it, because even I noticed, the only time Seattle was really able to get the Rams defense off course, off center, was when they were going hurry up. It was, they were behind, they were trying to get as many plays in. And I could kind of see from from my view, watching, like, okay, this defense is getting a little tired out there. People aren't communicating. They're going real fast, off the ball, things of that nature. But when they have time to execute, they have time to, get the communications across the board on defense. They are a tough team to deal with. And I love the fact that they make you one-dimensional. I keep saying that, but when you make a team one-dimensional, obviously they outgained us because they were behind. We gave our offense opportunities 3 or 4 different times where they can, score the ball, but their team had to go and drive down the field. So I love the fact that we make them one dimensional. We stop that. Let's say we contain the run game, because obviously there's great players offensively around this league, but we contain the run game enough to make teams one dimensional, especially when you're playing behind. Our offense is cooking and scoring points. So you feel like, oh man, I need to score quick. This needs to be a shutout. And I love the fact that our defense goes out there, make teams one-dimensional, so they know what's coming. And for the most part, they're doing an excellent job executing on that side of the ball and making things happen, getting the ball back, getting turnovers. That's a big deal for the team.
Yeah, I'm sure you're out there thinking, like, we know how much confidence you have in your guys, especially when it's Stafford and Devontae and all those stars, but you kind of feel like you see what's going on with their defense and how they're matched up with the offense, And the Rams 3 for 4 in the red zone. I think that was a big difference in the game as well. But you
Mm-hmm.
probably as a defense can feel like, hey, they need us to win the game for them tonight, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I got that sense from the Rams today. Gav, I want to ask you, what'd you think of Cooper Kupp's play? What'd you think about Cooper Kupp? How'd you think Cooper Kupp fared today? The
every
Rams,
single time they showed him, I was thinking of Doug McCain. If I remember correctly, he was the one who had it looked like a catch, run into the end zone, get called back, and not a yeah. And when that happened, I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game with other people, and I'm like, oh, I wish you knew why that was so hilarious, because I'm sitting there dying laughing. I'm like, I know D-Mac is sitting there with what does he say, with those cheeks clenched when he saw Cooper Kupp look like he scored a touchdown, but as good thing it got called back. He looked washed, D-Mac. I'll give it to you. He really did. He didn't do anything until the.
What are you trying to? You'll give it to me. Cooper Kupp. You're watching the show. The Kupp family know their viewers. The Michael Brockers. What are you talking about? Okay, no. But I will say I didn't think he caught that. I thought it bounced. But look, the truth is, Devontae had some drops too. But it was good to see Cooper Kupp there. It was good to see him and Puka Nacua mixing it up, and him Matthew Stafford mixing it up. And look, I think that we're gonna get the true kind of Cooper Kupp come back to SoFi when he's retired, and they retire his jersey or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? I think that today was kind of more about the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, look, the good news is the Rams end up getting the win. Kupp ended with 3 catches for 23 yards. And when we come back, we're going to talk some more winners and losers. Who were the studs for the Rams in this one? And just how big of a win was this when it comes to overall seeding? Are the Rams in a good position to get one of those top 2 seeds in the NFC now? That's coming up next on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple, too. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. Hey, what I love about it, too, I love you're getting the same quality service you had before, but at a fraction of the price. And the setup is super easy. You keep your number, and then you're just running in minutes, and you're ready to go with a lot cheaper of a plan. So, hey, if you're ready to say yes to saying no, make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. An upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on a limited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams and the Locked On Rams Squad Show, breaking down this epic game. Think about Mint Mobile. You remember your first cell phone, Brock? The sidekicks, razors, you know what I mean? Like, remember that era? Like,
Yes. I mean, you probably know a little bit more than me, but I do remember the sidekick. I remember the razor was like the big thing when I was in high school. Then it became the sidekick, and then obviously after that it was the BlackBerry, and then iPhone just took
if you had a
off.
BlackBerry, you're like balling out of control. For me, it's like the dudes on the varsity squad. When I was like a freshman, they had the Nextel Chirp. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
like if you had a Nextel Chirp, like to me, you're like a billionaire. You know what I mean? Like you were like the silver one with the blue and the Chirp. I was like, dude, what do I have to do to get that Nextel Chirp, man? I was like, crazy. Gavin, what was your first cell phone? Like iPhone 18?
I was about to say, you guys are making me real isolated over here. My first phone was an iPhone 5C, so I don't know what the heck a Nexus is. I think I heard of a BlackBerry, and I'm pretty sure you're talking about a fruit, but I have no idea what the heck that 20 seconds of
waiting till 9 to call your friends, man. That's how you have to do your nighttime minutes. But let's get back into it, because speaking of calls, Sean McVay making mostly the right calls in this one for the Rams. And look, like we talked about at the top of the show, kind of one of the takeaways is, look, Puka Nacua Yes, he did have the fumble. And if we're kind of looking at kind of a positive but a negative in this one, I think the first one is that the Rams only had one player throughout this game offensively that had caught more than 2 passes. It was Puka Nacua. He had 7 catches for 75 yards. He had a 19-yard long. The next closest in receptions was Colby Parkinson, who had 2 catches for 14 yards and a touchdown. He had 6 other players who caught 1 pass, and that combined for 41 yards. 23 of those went to Tyler Higbee on 1 play. So the positive is, yeah, Puka Nacua is still that guy, even when they're going to focus a lot of attention on him. But overall, it wasn't that same dynamic Rams passing game that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. I don't think it's that big of a concern because I do think it's a combination of, like we talked about, execution, a really good defense. But I do think that this is a major learning game where they're going to dissect this film and they know they can perform better as a group, even against defenses like the Seahawks, right, Brock?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you say that because as I'm watching it, I remember the announcer kind of talking about the 13 personnel and things like that. And what I love about McVay is like he is if he was a boxer, he would be like a calculated boxer. He'd be like Rocky. Like he would absorb as much punishment as he
Yeah.
can to learn the opponent, and then in the critical moments he will come out and then show what he learned, or he knows the ins and outs of what they're doing. I think what he's doing right now is setting up the team for success with, hey, let's throw the 13 personnel out there. Let's continue to run our game. Let's see how people adjust to it, and then let's fix the adjustments. Let's have a counter for the adjustments, or the adjustments. I love the fact that he continues to run the same plays out of different personnel, so he knows how to attack you. He's downloading data. I feel like that's the biggest thing from these, especially when they have games like this where it's not high powered offense or anything. It's like he's downloading that data, collecting it. They're gonna watch film on themselves and just see, okay, how can I attack this? How can I switch it up to attack this play the same way, but a different formation, a different personnel. The announcers were talking about, oh man, the 13 personnel, they run the same plays out of 11. What people don't know, and it's good that you have a football player that played on this podcast, is where people don't understand, like when offense throw personnels out there, it may be 13, it may be 11P, it might be 11. We're focusing on personnel because by personnel you can know what you're going to get. You can cut down on the plays you're going to get. You can cut down on so many things that you can possibly get by just knowing the personnel. Because it might be a personnel where you got 13 personnel, but it might be their 2 receiving tight ends, or their 3 blocking tight ends. Then you can kind of cut down on the plays that you can get. So I love the fact that they're throwing things out there, kind of collecting that data, and I feel like they're doing nothing but finding the counters for the adjustments. So once they have those, there's nothing you're going to be able to do with this Rams offense.
No doubt about it. I think that you bring up a fantastic point. Always with the bars, I love the downloading data because that's a good way to kind of describe it, because that's what he's doing early in games, right? It's information gathering and trying to dissect. And I think one of the other big kudos thrown at McVay in this one is when he goes for it on 4th down, and he was aggressive. And look, if Stafford makes that throw 9 out of 10 times, and if he makes a better throw there, you're probably going to get another touchdown in that situation. So I think that's one of the other big differences in this game is the 4th down plays in that first quarter that led to touchdowns, and they get that stop there, and you're wondering, wait a minute, the Rams could have gone inside the 5 a couple different times without anything to show for it against a really good defense. If they don't convert there, this could be a very different post-game show. So yeah, I give Sean McVay the credit for being aggressive the way he was, and it looked like as far as McDonald's side, I mean, you got to give him credit too. I mean, this was just kind of a battle of 2 really, really good, well-coached teams. The Rams, they win the one at home, and I think that we're seeing a version of Sean McVay that he's kind of cutting loose in a lot of different respects, whether it be finding a new offense, finding new angles, new ways to score points, get guys involved. And I think, too, just being aggressive like he was, I think that shows a lot about kind of where he's at in his coaching career.
Yeah, I love it because he's kind of taking that Detroit Lions approach where
Yeah.
is it if it's past the 50, like why are we kicking? Why are we really kicking it? We got all these players on our side of the ball that we can get the ball to. We have a tremendous quarterback that can get them the ball. Why are we kicking the ball? Like, let's be aggressive. Let's stay in front. I don't know what the stats are. It might be a PFF stat or something about this, but once you get past that 50-yard line and you have some players on your team, let's continue to go for it because every time you get it on fourth down, it just breaks. It's a little crack in that pencil or that crack in the foundation of that defense where they're like, oh my, we got to play 4 more downs, or oh my gosh, we got to play another couple of downs. So every time you do that, it kind of demoralizes that defense. So yeah, continue to get past that 50. And if you don't feel solid with the kick, let's go for it and see what we got. I think if we go into the games knowing that, like Detroit knows that, like getting past the 50-yard line, they're going for it on fourth down nine out of 10 times. So the defense is like already ready. The people are ready, to go if they don't get it. But 9 times out of 10, they get the fourth down. So man, if they go into the game more edgy, like yes, we're taking all opportunities to go out here and score. I think that approach is a lot better, especially with the players that we have on our team.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious too. I was kind of screaming at the TV a couple different times. It did feel like they were halfway into bleed the clock mode, where you could have gotten
Mm.
some more extra time off the clock. You were consistently under the 8-minute mark, hiking the ball with 7 to 10 seconds left on the play clock, and even with the punt, you had that amount of time left on the clock. I mean, I counted at least 30 to 45 seconds. You could have ran off the clock. So you look at the time of possession: Seahawks 37-49, the Rams 20-11. So that's kind of another part of the game. You're kind of the game within the game, like one of those big details you're kind of looking at there. And I do like the fact that you're not kind of playing not to lose for certain respects,
Hmm.
but I also think too there's probably a little more situational awareness I probably would have preferred in that situation. But hey, man, like they won the game, so what can I say, right? I mean, Gav, what do you
No,
think about that part of it? Or Brock, what do you
you're
got?
right. No, I would say you're right, and that's what I talk about all the time. Is like I'm scared when we go into halftime with up on the
Yeah,
scoreboard.
I know.
We don't know how to play. Like we're so high powered and ready to get after it. We don't know how to play not to lose. So it's kind of in that limbo where we want to run the clock down, but at the same time, we're so aggressive. We want to, chunk the ball down the field. We want to get plays. So I love being behind, honestly, because it gets that sense of urgency from our offense ramped up, and then we can go out there and score points. But when we go in halftime ahead, it's like, okay, how do we play now? Like, do we play? Do we run the ball more? Do we pass the ball more? I think they're in that limbo area, especially when they go up 2 scores at halftime.
Well, Brock, football IQ 200 play would have been when Shahid's sitting there. Just let him sit there, right? Like,
Yeah.
let him sit there, right? Because I mean, you're
No,
not
they
gonna
did,
stop
they
it.
did, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
Like they
how
should have.
is
I mean,
he,
like that. They
he
kind of
caught the
messed it up for
ball?
him.
He laid on the ground a little bit, turned around, and then called timeout. And I was like, that's way longer than a second. Like, how is that second still sitting on the clock is beyond me. But I mean, we won the game, like you said, but I'm still that's SoFi Stadium. That second should have ran off so fast, like should have been the
Yeah. I
end of
mean,
the game.
what does it feel like in the locker room right now after a game like that? As far as defense, I'm sure these dudes are just gassed beyond belief, right?
I mean, yeah, they gas, but I mean, you win the game, you
It's up
go
for
up, you
everything.
4 picks. I mean, the defense is lit right now. Hey, we're
Yeah.
lit right now. Obviously, you play in a game like that, there'll be a little gas, but I mean, man, like I said before, man, this defense, it can carry this team a long way. And I know they have a bunch of pride. Chris Shula, he has a bunch of pride about this defense and the way they playing. They're young, they're hungry, and I just love where we're at right now. This defense is playing like it should play.
Totally agree. How about you, Gavin? Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I mean, you got to take a knee, right? If you're Shahid in that situation, if you wanted to stop.
Yeah, I mean, the whole like giving yourself up rule is always pretty vague in my opinion. Like whether it's like a quarterback or a running back type, it always seems like the give yourself up rules is kind of, there's a lot of leeway in terms of the way the refs can call it. I mean, that whole drive was kind of just a reminder to me of why football is such an amazing sport. Like how there's 59 minutes of game time, all this stuff going on, and yet you just knew no matter what, one team was going to have the ball down by one score. It's going to come down to a couple calls by the refs. It's going to come down to special teams. I mean, I'm thinking of all the regular daily shows with D-Mac and Travis, where Travis is losing his mind saying, if the Rams lose a game because they miss a kick or because the special teams operation is poor, you're going to lose your mind, because that's what playoff games come down to. That's what games between two good teams comes down to. It always comes down to the final drive. And so, fortunately for the Rams, yeah, I mean, was that a makeup call on the PI? Yes. Was there some questions about whether or not Charbonnet was going forward or backwards when he went out of bounds and stopped the clock? That was another one that seemed kind of close. It's really a game of inches. Did Shaheed give himself up? I don't really know. It's one of those where you just say, man, thank God that the Rams won the football game. You're 8-2. Right. And after I let Doug cook on and it feels so weird saying Doug, it's D-Mac, man. After I let D-Mac cook on this next ad, when we come back, I got a question for you guys about the Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford, kind of what we saw today. So hit that, and then I want to ask you guys a question when we come back.
Bang, let's do it. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And welcome back to the Locked On Rams Squad Show. Myself, Michael Brockers, Gavin Carlson rocking with us, celebrating another Rams win. This game, by the way, it kind of makes up a little bit for that Eagles loss and that 49ers loss. I mean, it feels like we kind of got a break today. I mean, it feels like the football gods kind of smiled down on us. But, Gav, you want to jump into something?
Yeah, I mean, look at the simpatico right there. D-Mac basically read my mind. I'm looking at the comments, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, you're telling me Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions and the Seahawks still could have and maybe should have won this game. Are the Rams not that good? Did the Rams get lucky, right? Then there's going to be another side. My opinion is this is where you see how valuable a Matthew Stafford is. There's never a scenario where Matthew Stafford's going to collapse and throw 4 interceptions in a game. And when the Seahawks made the move they did and they gave Sam Darnold all that money after the season he had with the Vikings, there was a percentage of the NFL population that was going, yeah, he had a great year, but he still has that I see ghosts game in him, right? He did it in the playoffs against us. He does it here today. And so my question to you guys is, where do you fall on sort of that spectrum on this game of, wow, the Rams got 4 picks off Sam Darnold and still barely won. Should we be concerned? Or, hey, this just shows how valuable a guy like Matthew Stafford is, that we know he's never going to throw 4 picks. And, hey, this is what the Seahawks signed up for. No, it's not lucky. It's called having, a good quarterback, a better quarterback, having a better team. Where do you guys fall on that kind of spectrum?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, look, Matthew Stafford, the most interceptions he's thrown in a game was 5. It was also against the Seahawks, but it was when he was a rookie, right? Not when he was established in this league. And I don't think there's anyone that would make the case that Sam Darnold is sitting at the same table with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, he's a big dog. I mean, I think even if his career ended right now, he'd be in the Hall of Fame at some point. I think that the rest of his career, if he wins the MVP, finishes top 3, All-Pro, wins the Super Bowl, I mean, he's kind of padding his stats as we speak. But look, it's about decision making. I mean, all these guys can throw and make throws and execute throws. They can't do it like Matthew Stafford can, but it's about decision making. And like Sean McVay likes to say, the enemy has a say, right? And the enemy of Sam Darnold today was the Rams defense, the ghosts that were out there, and the pressure, and those pressure that led to some of those errant throws right there. So yeah, I think to the adage that you're saying, the Rams almost lost a game where Sam Darnold was picked off 4 times. I mean, I think that if you're the Seahawks and you had any doubts about their defense, they're for real. Like, the Seahawks are for real. It's not like they were a fluke. If the Rams had won this game by 20 and they dominated, I'd be like, okay, it's the Seahawks, and they didn't really beat a lot of big teams coming into this one. I look at this one, and I think one of the big differences in this game was we so much talk about 13 personnel, right, Brock? We talk about it all week. But if you look early in this game, Lawrence, Onwenu, a lot of those guys down, like the tight ends couldn't block them. Like Parkinson and Higbee, they were getting absolutely assaulted by those dudes. And I think McVay's adjustment, to your point earlier, was I'm going back to some 11 personnel because I got to adjust because I got no answer for those guys. So I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that both these teams have different strengths. And Sam Darnold, we know that he has played well this year. He has a really good receiver in JSN, and the running game actually was better than the Rams today. But hey, you got to make throws, man. And sometimes it's just mistakes. I mean, it's trying to do too much. I mean, you saw late in that game going to scramble drill when you just got to get the ball out. And it's always been a decision-making thing with Sam Darnold. It's never been a lack of talent. Right. Today, big game, big stage, brights are light. And the experience, I think, showed for Stafford.
Man, I agree with you, D-Mac. It's crazy that you just said that it's decision making. I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what separates you. Like, I mean, average and great is only this much in this league, and the ones who do it great just make better decisions. They make better decisions on the field. They make better decisions off the field. In the game, it just shows you, where his head is, especially when he gets pressured a lot. He's trying to make a play. He's trying so hard to make a play for his team. I'm talking about Dalton, that he ends up making a mistake. And I think that's the biggest thing about him through Matthew Stafford is Matthew Stafford doesn't want to make those mistakes to hurt the team. So I don't know, or I said Darnold. But I don't know. I obviously don't think Darnold and Matthew Stafford you can compare them to. But Darnold is a hell of a quarterback. I mean, they're 7-2 for a reason. He has a hot hand. I just think we just had his number today. Obviously, you don't go out there wanting to make mistakes or hoping, oh man, I don't, you go out there and really let it loose. But once you're behind the 8 ball, you need to get your team back. And, you just try to make a play, and usually it turns out bad for you. So it's like you said, I agree with you 100%, D-Mac. It's 100% decision making. I just think when the team really needs it, I don't think Darnold plays his best because he goes out there and forces. You got to really take what the defense gives you at a certain point in time, and then you let everything play out at the end of the day.
Yeah, and Brock, what I want to ask you too is, can you smell that? Can you smell that from a player? Because I looked at the eyes after the first interception, second interception, third interception, fourth interception. And yes, he did make some throws there down the stretch, but it feels like they can sense it, like, oh, now we're going to get to him and make life heck for him because we want to get another one, right? Can you feel that from a quarterback out there that's almost starting to, I mean, he's the guy who said he sees ghosts, right? Can you start to feel that? And then it almost elevates you to a level like, oh, we got you where we want you. We're going to just keep pounding, right?
Yeah, especially when you go and practice it. Like, if this is, this has kind of been his theme. He'll have those games where he sees ghosts, and I think it's something in film room or whatever where you can show him a different coverage. Maybe obviously you have a great D line, and you can mix and match some coverages. So you don't show little things or show tails before the snap, and he has to figure things out on the fly. I think that's when it gets to him. And when you have the capability to putting those two things together, rush and coverage is what we say, as players, if you can put rush and coverage hand in hand and make it work together, it forces Darnold to really expose who he truly is. I think he's a great player. But when those lights are bright and the team needs you, and you got the defense, turning it on, we need to see a player that rises above, and usually he succumbs to that pressure. So I just think that's what type of player he is. Obviously, he will win you a lot of regular season games, but when the pressure is on, who would you rather have, Sam Darnold or Matthew Stafford? 10 out of 10 football fans are going to tell you they rather have Matthew Stafford in that situation.
Yeah, and Brock, you're going to love this. Gavin, maybe not so much, but after the game, Sean McVay was asked about the Rams getting 0 sacks on the Seahawks and Sam Darnold, and McVay's response was, stats are for losers. I feel attacked. I feel attacked, offended. I feel embarrassed, quite frankly. I mean, Gavin, can you believe McVay, stats are for losers? That should be a T-shirt at this point, right?
That's pretty hilarious. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, Brock has this little, only this year beef with Cooper Kupp. Big Brock has his beef with PFF. He had that jab earlier in the show. He made sure to say how much he doesn't mess with PFF. So I know he's a big fan of that quote. I mean, obviously, I don't fully agree, but I totally understand what he's saying in the sense that, whoever asked that question about having 0 sacks didn't watch the game. Sam Darnold was getting hit every other play, right? So it would be silly to ask Sean McVay about not getting a sack when obviously the D-line was all over the field. They almost had a strip sack on Sam Darnold by about, half a millisecond, Jared Verse there at the end of the game. So totally understand what he's saying there. The D-line did its thing, even though it didn't, technically, get the stat. But, I mean, yeah, the defense as a whole played phenomenal. And my question for you guys is, how good do you feel about the secondary going forward, knowing, hey, we just did against JSN and Rashid Shaheed, pretty talented wide receivers. Can we do it against other receiving corps, some of the best in the league? Can we handle business against them?
I think that they know that for them to have success as a unit, it's got to be from every single position group. And I think that today was kind of the formula, because you see a guy like Cam Kinchins. I mean, they intercepted Darnold 4 times. Kinchins got his hands on 2 of those, once in the first quarter, once in the third quarter. Both of those were ones where it's just about reading Sam Darnold's eyes and just making a really savvy break on the ball. And we always, curious to get Brock's take on this, because, look, we all know football is a team sport, right? But when it's just like you and that guy, it's kind of like it's a collection of everyone's individual abilities, and sometimes it's just you and that guy. And I think today the confidence that they gained, Gavin, is just their ability to know that, hey, we know that we're going to go up against some studs. We know that to make a deep run, you're going to face some of the best and most talented receivers, tight ends, running backs in the league, and you can't back down. I think that Kinchins is a dog, dude. He really is. Like, I love the way he goes about it. And that was just kind of one of those, ones where it's, hey, man, I don't care if you're playing 7-on-7, you're playing flag football, tackle football. That's one where he just showed just the ability to read, react to Darnold, use that athleticism, and finish the play too. So I think that overall this group gets a lot of confidence, and you got to give these guys credit, because I kind of feel like they know what people say about them, and they kind of have this chip on their shoulder, this kind of underdog mentality, and they're kind of out to prove people wrong. It just kind of feels that way.
Yeah, especially from Forbes. I don't know what
Forbes, big time.
it almost seemed like he turned up after that Eagles game, after, D-Mac, you made some comments about him. It's almost like he turned up. So he must watch on, Locked On a Rams squad something, because
that was about as good as my Cardinals are going to finish second in the NFC West take. Okay. So I'll take that out. If Winston likes to eat a W, I'll eat an L for that one. You know what I'm saying?
But no, they do play with a chip on their shoulder. Like, you got a bunch of guys, I don't want to say no-name guys, but guys that still have a lot of room to showcase who they are in this league. And the fact that they play at the level that they do, and I've said it in this show before, their DB coach, Aubrey Pleasant is one hell of a coach. He's an IQ coach where it's more about, hey, let's know what we're getting when we get this split and where we're in this part of the field, and you collectively take all that knowledge and you can eliminate a lot of the routes that in your head you're thinking about all the routes he can run. But if you dumb it down, you simplify the game, which Coach Aubrey Pleasant does. It allows you to play faster. And while I'm watching, a lot of replays of the highlights of the picks, I'm seeing guys, react and truly sprint through the ball. I'm seeing guys, hey, they might be in coverage here, but because they're reading the eyes of the quarterback, they might be, leaning a little bit this way. Then he throws the ball, then they break on the ball. So I'm looking at a lot of guys really playing within the scheme, but allowing them guys to shoot their shot. You don't want to be a guy who's playing like a robot. You don't want to get beat over top, so you're just letting the guy catch everything underneath. Some of these plays where you feel like the route and you can run a route for the guy, go out there and do it and make a play. And I love the fact that that's what they're doing, going out there making plays for each other, making plays for the team, and they're really showcasing their skills because Forbes is not he's big as far as linear, as far as vertically. He's a taller
he got
corner.
The length too.
Got a lot of weight. He doesn't got a lot of weight to him. So for me to see him come and make strong tackles in cover two when he sits down on the flat route and things like that, I'm like, okay, they're feeling themselves. They're getting a little, they starting to get a little swag about themselves throughout this year. So, and it's coming at the right time, especially when we're facing the thick end of our schedule where we have a lot of good opponents we're going against. So I'm loving where they're at right now mentally, and looking forward to just seeing them, especially over these next couple of weeks, turning it up another notch.
Yeah, and I think it's just kind of going out there and competing, right? I mean, they're fearless. They're not afraid to make mistakes. I mean, not afraid to have a penalty just if it means they're going to compete. But there's one guy too I want to highlight too, and I don't think the Rams win this game last year, and one of the big reasons why I believe that is because this guy wasn't on the roster last year. I'm talking about a position you know very well, Poona Ford, and Poona Ford. What he did for this Rams defense is he allowed them to be stout against the run without being in heavy personnel, right? Without loading the box or anything. That's what the Seahawks want to do. Like, okay, we're going to commit to the run, even if it's not going to be efficient, just so you can put more dudes in the box, then we're going to air it out. But with Poona Ford, he allowed them to keep guys into coverage by going out there. I mean, Kenneth Walker, 16 carries, 67 yards. Charbonnet, 11 rushes, 37 yards. I mean, that's just over 4 yards per carry for Walker and 3.4 average for Charbonnet. I mean, you just need to keep them honest. And a guy like Poona Ford's a dude who's just like, he's kind of one of those, like, hey, man, put the kids to bed. Like, Big Daddy's going to work, right? I mean, that's kind of how it feels with him, right? Like, he's not going to get shouted. I didn't hear his name once from Joe Davis or anyone out there. But if you're watching the game, you're not just watching the football, you see what he's able to do on a football field. And I think it was a big reason why they won today.
For me, man, I love D-line play. So obviously that brings a smile to my face, with you talking, because interior wise, man, the Rams are gap sound, man. They know their technique. They know what they should play. Watching other teams, you see guys get out their gaps. You see guys, all over the place. But I love the fact that this team plays together. When a guy, maybe if they're stretching the ball wide, he's not there. You can see Landman coming in and cleaning up tackles, or you see, Forbes or your guys, the corners out there stepping up if the ball goes wide. They're playing complete team defense right now, and I think that's what sets them up to really have a great season, is that they play complete team defense. Nobody has to go outside of the scheme and be phenomenal. Obviously, everybody wishes they had an AD on the team, but you don't have that. But everybody has to showcase themselves at some point in time on this defense, and I think they did. Poona made some great tackles that probably, going against other opponents, probably would break for 6, 7, maybe, 10 yards. They stopped it at 3 yards and deaded it right there. So, putting the guys in situations, putting teams in situations where they have to throw the ball on third down, just like I said, makes you one-dimensional. Now you know what's coming. Now you can switch up coverages and things of that nature. So this team plays gap sound defense, and that's what you're going to need fundamental defense going into the playoffs.
I love that dude, man. By the way, I know that Gavin somewhere, when you said 6'7", hit one of these. I know he did. I know he for sure he did.
For sure.
But I want to save this one for the end. All right. We're waiting also to talk about them. We know Brock has seen them months ago. He has one. But the midnight mode uniforms in a game, I almost thought that they looked nicer in the fourth quarter than even the first quarter, right? I mean, the yellow popped on them. The horn was right.
Yeah.
The helmets I warmed up on them. Our guy Travis Rogers, and if I say things behind people's back, trust me, I will say it to their face, right? And he was wrong about these things. He did not like these uniforms. I thought they looked clean. I thought, like, a lot of times it's an alternate uniform. They're just trying to do too much. Like the Cardinals one, it looks like they want to be Oregon jerseys doing too much. These ones, I think they were like clean. And I thought these were straight fire. I'm gonna give these, and because they won two, I'm giving these a 10 out of 10. Gavin, I want your ranking, and also Brock. I mean, what do you got? I mean, what are your thoughts on these uniforms?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to disagree just to disagree, but I don't know. I was actually surprisingly kind of underwhelmed. I think what it is for me is it's the vibe. Like, I want them wearing those on a Sunday night at 8 p.m. when it's pitch black, and it's like, oh man, we're intimidating. We've got the all blacks on. We're about to go crazy. Like, I don't know. Like when it's the lights are bright in SoFi at 2 p.m., I don't know if the vibe fully fits. The jerseys themselves, I think I'm a big fan of a black jersey. I'm not surprised Travis isn't. It's more of a new school thing, no offense to him, right, to rock the all-black jerseys. But I think it would have made more sense to do it on, like, next week, Sunday Night Football against the Bucks,
I think
where
the
it's
biggest
late.
game of the year, though. You know what I mean? It's a big game, and
It's
kind of our rivalry, though, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you there. I think maybe like it's just hard. Like, black out the whole stadium then somehow. Like make it a blackout in the crowd. Like, when it's just the black jerseys, it's like a 7 out of 10 to me. Like, if it's a night game, if the whole vibe is like that, then it becomes a 10 out of 10. But I'm just being critical. They're still fire. I just say like 7, 8 out of 10, maybe not 10 out of 10.
So you like the jersey
I feel you.
execution. What do you think, Brock?
No. I feel Gavin. Like, I understand what he's saying. He's saying, like, it was almost just about the Rams just wearing a black jersey. The stadium wasn't in on it. You just had the little black logo, in the middle of the field. So I kind of understand you saying the vibe didn't fit the jerseys in that moment when you're playing a middle of the day kind of game. Maybe not 12, but the sun's still out for you to be calling these midnight game jerseys or whatever they call them. So no, I totally agree with Gavin. But just being a black jersey, I'm a fan of the color black. So for me, it's 10 out of 10 for me. So I love the jerseys.
You got the hat to match.
I got the hat to match. I wore the hat on purpose just to match for today, in our victory versus them dirty Seahawks. So for me, man, it's all about man, the black jersey. But it would have been dope if it was like a Sunday nighter or Monday night game, and they would have had like a blackout of the stadium. That would have the vibes would have been immaculate if that would have happened. But I obviously still love the jerseys. The jersey is sweet. I'm a fan of all black jerseys, like Friday Night Lights, man. When Booby wear black, and
Yes.
everybody, it's just a dope feeling, when you got you jersey.
Yeah, no, I agree. The execution, like, you could have hyped the execution, like have like Ice Cube, like in like a 6'4", like a black 6'4" Impala, like drive like the 50-yard line in one, and like 80s right next to him. You got, what I mean? Like, and some fireworks, like, dude, like, I'm here for all that. Trust me. But I just think that the overall.
Somebody hire D-Mac right now. Someone at the Rams, go hire that man, because wow, he's spitting right now.
A party, right? But I'll tell you one thing. What I really love about them, this is like super kind of like nerdy, is like when you see the Rams, like the blue ones, right? It's like you got the horns going like this way and that way, and the other one's like the horn. But this one has it's like the Dickerson ones with the horn. It truly curls around like the old school ones, but just smaller, right? So I hope that they make that detail part of the normal Rams uniforms, because I think that's like super fire. Because the thing about the normal Rams uniforms is like the bone one, it's just like one thing and a number. Then it's like the 2, You know what I'm talking about? Am I crazy? Like, I mean, I think like the horn was like super curly, and I was like feeling that.
No, I know what you're talking about, and I agree. I think I hope they do make that change because it makes more sense logically. Also, I do got to say, you guys are talking about the hats. Man, when they panned to Matthew Stafford wearing the black hat right after Myers missed the kick to win the game, he also looked like he dropped a little F-bomb on TV. Sorry, Fox. Hope you're not mad about that. But that made me hype. Then I suddenly was all in when I see the all-black hat after the dub at 5 p.m., 4 p.m. when it's getting a little bit darker outside. So yeah, when it's January and we're playing in the NFC Championship game and it's a night game, throw those on and get a dub, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Hey, I will say it's better than I'd rather wear all black all midnight and win than be UCLA wear the surrender whites and get blown out by Ohio State where they the first.
Yo, come on, man. D-Mac, why you gotta do that?
Treated UCLA like their first string was in for like one series. They still won by like 1,000 points, man. So give me the midnight then the all white surrender whites for UCLA. Again, the breaks boat race by the Buckeyes.
D-Mac, why you gotta break my heart like that? You're a Bruin like me.
Hey, man, I hate. Look, man, you know how I get down. I like pain, man. You know what I mean? But it's all good. Rams get the win. They got the clean uniform. Also, too, one last thing I want to say is I think the crowd. I give the crowd some credit because everyone's like, oh, the Rams don't have fans, right? Oh, the Rams don't have a home crowd. I mean, when Myers was come up to kick, that place was pretty loud, and I think there were some Seahawks fans there for sure. But I think this was the best kind of crowd game for the Rams this season. Am I crazy? You guys kind of noticed that too.
I mean, in LA, bro, it's tough to have a crowd game when everybody wants to be in LA. Like LA has great weather I know it's shitty right now, but I mean, it's not good right now. But
Facts.
LA, for the most part, has great weather. So anytime you can have a game where you're playing Buffalo and the fans from Buffalo, New York are going to travel to LA because the weather's better. Everybody wants to be in LA. Everybody wants to take a little vacation time and be in LA. So it's really tough to have a full game, a full crowd of just total Rams fans just because people love vacation in LA.
Look, you guys are last thing. You guys tell me on my theory. I think so. Stan Kroenke, like, bro. I mean, this dude's like one of the richest guys ever, right? I think Stan Kroenke, he should have a day before every season where he pays Rams fans or like 49ers fans or Raiders fans or Cowboys fans. He offers them $250 and a Rams jersey, but they have to give them all their Niners stuff, all the Cowboy stuff, and like sign a form they're going to be a Rams fan. Like, I think that they should like do that, and I think it'd be successful. You know what I'm saying? There's too many 49ers fans, too many Packers fans, too many Raiders fans, too many fans. I mean, Gavin, what would you do to increase the fan base other than just winning?
I don't know. It's tough. I feel like, we're already going through with UCLA. Brock is so right in that these road fans are going to come in and always try to make SoFi their vacation destination. But at the end of the day, like, you just got to win. You just got to win at home. And we keep doing that right now. The more we win, it's the city, LA is a city of winners. The more we win, the more that ratio will go from 50-50 to 60-40 to 70-30 so that when it comes time for the playoffs, it's 80-20, it's 90-10. I don't really know. LA is just such a melting pot. There's so, culturally, racially, every way possible. And I guess that means it's a melting pot in terms of NFL fans as well. But hey, whose house? Rams house. It matters. Win at home and the fans will follow.
No, for sure. No doubt about it. Hey, this is the third most watched Locked On NFL YouTube show channel. So someone's watching. I think most of them are Rams fans, right?
Come on,
there we go. Sometimes Brock's a competitor, man. Brock's a competitor. I can feel that. He likes to win at everything, right? But hey, Rams get the win. We'll continue to break this one down all week long. Join us for the midweek show as Rams are in a good spot. Driver's seat in the NFC West. For Gavin, Michael Brockers, and myself, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, drop all your comments. What was your biggest takeaway from today's big win? We'll see you guys next week. And until next time, whose house? It's the Locked On Rams NFL Squad's house.